We're continuing a conversation with Orange County Supervisor John Moorlach, who was an early warning system for the problem of debt and ran for treasurer in Orange County some years ago, warning that their investments were improvident. No one listened. The treasurer was reelected. 6 months later, Orange County was bankrupt. John was appointed treasurer, then elected treasurer, and then subsequent Orange County supervisor. And we're proud to say a graduate of Long Beach State College of Business Administration, majoring in accounting and applying well the lessons you learned here.
I'm a proud 49er.
There you go. So in your voluminous PowerPoint presentation, you have this concept of comprehensive annual, adjusted net assets. And apparently it's an accepted figure, and you've calculated the net assets per capita for all the different counties. And Orange County comes out minus $3, and the range goes from a plus of several $100s account and $5,000 per in Alpine, and going down to zero and then going negative in some of the counties. Yuba, San Francisco, Modoc, minus $1,400 per capita. But this gives you a base of comparison.
Right. You want to, as an accountant, you always want to kind of compare how you're doing to others. That's a management tool. So you take the comprehensive annual financial report, which are the audited financial statements for every county, and you look at their basic financial statements and say, okay, what's happening with government activities? If we take their net assets, that gets down to what we call unrestricted assets, divide that by their population, what do we get? What metric do we get to measure ourselves? When you talk about the bankruptcy, Orange County lost about $1.7 billion. That's a big, torpedo, big hit to take for the county. So we know we're already a little behind, but when we did the metric to find that we were in 46th place, it was a little disconcerting because everybody says, oh, Orange County is such a wealthy county. But we certainly need to manage ourselves a little better. And so the focus while I was chair was to what can we do to improve our net unrestricted assets?
And there's a question of whether you include retiree medical and defined benefit pension plan liabilities in these numbers. Should they be included, or are those separate?
Art, the Financial Accounting Standards Board, which everyone that has publicly traded stock and everyone else in the private sector has to abide by, has requested for 25 years that unfunded liabilities for pension plans be reported on the balance sheet. That has not been the case with the Government Accounting Standards Board, which municipalities have to abide by. So if it's in the shadows, you can play with it, right? And no one's watching, and that's why we have such pension abuse in California and around the country. Excuse me. So if you put our unfunded liabilities, we have over $3.7 billion as of June 10th, 2010. We have $3.7 billion in pension and about $400 million in retiree medical unfunded. That gets us up to a negative $4.1 billion on our balance sheet.
And that's $1,400 per capita, not $3 per capita.
Right.
Negative.
Yeah. If the balance sheet would show you that per capita, everyone in Orange County should give up Starbucks for one day and give that $3 to the county, and that would give us $10 million. 3 million times 3. But this number, you got to give up Starbucks every day of the year for every one of our residents. It's that large, and you call it the elephant in the room. But in 2011, this is a 2010 number, but in 2011, our pension system earned less than 1%. It also had to increase assumptions for longevity. Our retirees are living longer. And at the end of 2012, in December, they reduced the investment assumption rate from 7 3/4 to 7 1/4. So between the poor revenues and the reduction in the investment assumption, we now have an unfunded liability of $5.5 billion. So
now you're not popular with the unions in bringing these realities up.
Well, denial is not a good strategy. The issue is this is what has begotten from your demand that you have a better pension formula. And so you might call it the rule of unintended consequences, or maybe it's just greed. But you decided somewhere that pensions were more important than salaries and everything else. And so now we've got to manage to that. And what do we do? Do we reduce your wages? Do we change other benefits? Or do we change the pension system
Well,
itself?
I think an important principle is sustainability, and asking of any situation whether the current numbers are